We possess the power to create whatever destiny we choose. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. As the winter rains begin to subside here in SoCal Valley, I welcome you to the Gentleman Code, where swag is for boys and class is for men. I'm your host, LeVon the Gent. I was awakened this morning by my ever-flowing thoughts. It's an often occurrence, my eyes popping open before my alarm goes off. But these flooding thoughts even woke me up on this rare day off. I just couldn't escape them. They were that of progression and consistency, showing up when you're supposed to and bringing your best effort every time. Those words can be very encouraging, but to me they're simply words without proper action to follow. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Many of us need to stop wishing and start doing. We've been given this new day as a sign we have another chance to get things right. Today is a very special gift. That's why it's called the present. Enjoy the gift of today. Cherish it, for yesterday is gone and tomorrow is never promised. What will I do today my future self will thank me for? How will you make the most of today? I've termed this portion of my life execution. Not execution in the way of someone being put to death by gas or electric chamber, or maybe in a way, it is an execution. I've decided to put my laziness and apathy in the gas chamber. I've chosen to strap my past disappointments and ego to the electric chair and flip the switch, allowing those parts of me to die, and die for good. For this is a part of my life I feel all dreams I've dreamt and the goals and ideas I've written down are at the stage of execution. It's time to act. I also call it shoot your shot time. As dreamers, we're still on the bench as the game is being played. It's time to get in the game and see what you can do. We often find our strengths, the ones that may have been hidden from us before. We find those strengths as we execute dreams and ideas. We figure out how to rely on self while also learning the importance of a team and a support system. No one goes anywhere or accomplishes anything of purpose alone. But the sound idea needs to be there many times before people will jump on board. You're the visionary. You must paint the vision in their minds and paint with such broad strokes they see how they fit within it. You have an idea that has been brewing and marinating inside you for weeks, months, or even years. It's time to execute. It's time to shoot your shot. This energy of execution hit me the first week of December 2018. I was in Cali. I knew I wasn't going to be able to go home for the holidays, and I was going to stay here and work. And as the days went by, I began to assess where I was in my creative stage. Over the year, I'd done a few key projects that were to release in 2019 in major ways. I was proud of the direction my career seemed to be taking. But, as my high school coach used to tell us, be proud, but never satisfied. I was happy with the results of the hard work I'd put in, and to be honest, there were moments where I wasn't sure I was going to make it and be labeled a failure. I was putting immense pressure on myself to prove something to somebody, anybody, myself. I took that angst and transferred it into positive action. Like a judo fighter, I used the energy and moved it into another direction, one more conducive to what I needed. I began putting up practice shots here, there, and everywhere. And I began growing in confidence in many facets of my life. I felt like I'd landed on another planet, Or maybe the same planet, but just a different timeline. Although my surroundings seemed to be the same, the way I was being perceived was different. It was better. It was a new day. I started reading more books about topics I had interest in. I made it a point to go to more networking and social events. Prior to this time, I'd just been simply going to work and going home. But all work and no play makes the gent a very dull man. And that statement is very true. Without life experiences, your conversations revolve around work, or maybe whatever show you're binge watching. I was at a dinner party a few weeks ago with some friends. A few I knew before that night, and others I met that evening. They all knew each other from work, so I was essentially the outsider. And as the night progressed, the group would break into smaller groups on the balcony, in the kitchen. What I noticed is that many of them only had work things to talk about. Messy co-workers, problem with authority figures, and did you hear about what happened to Maria? Needless to say, I discovered many moments staring at the night sky, just feeling isolated. And I would do my best to throw a question to the crowd for discussion. See, I'm always in show host mode and never wanting anyone to feel left out, including myself. Have you ever been friend zoned? Are Cheetos chips? What about bugles? Is a hot dog a sandwich? These are just some random questions I like to use to explore the minds of those around me. They're simple questions, but they usually erupt into a full-blown discussion that everyone has a say in, especially the friend zone one. You find out the frustrations some of the most beautiful women have in the dating world. Even with their good looks, tight bodies, and personalities, many are single, deprived, and over it. I use this information to learn from them and form opinions on the women that I deal with. I make the assumption that they too are frustrated by the lies and mistreatment, and I make it a point to be honest and romantic. I started a campaign last year, Make America Date Again, #MATA, as a tongue-in-cheek way to wordplay from Trump's campaign slogan to something I believe everyone can get behind. It's hard out there for a gent, but it's difficult for the ladies as well. And MATA can bring an end to the dating frustrations. And many of the things I've learned in speaking with my friends of the fair sex is that we guys focus on the wrong things when it comes to women. We place too much importance on the things that don't truly matter to her. Money, possessions, penis size would be the 3 top things that men feel we need to have in order to get the women we want. And while it's nice to have those things, you don't need them to attract the woman you desire. You may need all of them to attract a girl in a woman's body. But women are more complicated and nuanced than just those simple frills. See, girls want a man that can do for them. A man that's already winning, and she just wants to join him in the winner's circle. A woman has victories of her own, and all she wants is for someone to share the moments with, someone to hold her and desire her. One of my most recent dating experiences was with a runway model I met at a fashion show. I attended with a buddy of mine, and he knew someone that was organizing the show. So we watched the entertaining and it was sometimes confusing fashion hit the runway. Then we got some drinks with some of the models and the organizer later that night. And there she was. We were lingering near the bar with our friends, and I just decided to introduce myself. The conversation continued throughout the night. And as a large group, we went to grab something to eat and have a few more drinks, and she never left my side the entire night. She got chilly. I gave her my coat. As we walked the sidewalk, I had her always inside as I walked curbside. I bring these things up not to brag on my chivalry, because I don't really look at it that way. I see it as protecting the woman in my care, and in that case, that evening, it was her. So I took it upon myself to be her man for the night, if you will. Now, there are times a notion like that can backfire because you might be doing some efforts and things like that the women don't appreciate, or that the woman that you're with doesn't appreciate. But as she and I got more involved over the next few months, she shared with me how she felt about me the night we met. And aside from taking note as to how I showed care for her that night and with the coat and sidewalk etiquette, she remarked about how I knew how to lead a conversation. I kept things light and insightful, and she really liked that. Plus, she said that once she took my arm at the fashion show, I never let go. She liked that too. There was no need for a fancy pickup line or a clever opening. All it took was confidence and a willingness to take a shot. This one just happened to go in. My friends of the fairer sex have shared with me pickup lines that they've heard. And some of the most memorable ones have never equaled a date. They prefer a more simple approach. Hello, how are you? My name is the Gent. What's yours? What brings you out today? I know. It sounds way too simple. Well, it is. Gents, we don't need to rack our brains trying to be so different with an opening line. We just need to be authentic. Women can tell when you're being fake, and it's a turnoff. Be true to who you are. If she appreciates that, great. You're on your way. If she doesn't appreciate that, great. Then you can be on your way to someone else. I would encourage any gent out there that might be struggling with self-esteem in the dating arena to put up practice shots. Get in the habit of speaking to women that you would like to date. Open your mouth and say something instead of pondering how the conversation would go. A man can drive himself crazy in his own head. Get out of your head, off the bench, and into the game. And one of the easiest methods is to simply go to a place and begin having conversations. Have experiences. Who knows? As you begin to socialize and put yourself out there, some of those practice shots will begin to go in. But isn't that the idea? The more time a basketball player spends in the gym practicing his shot, the better he gets. As he consistently gets in the rhythm of his particular stroke, the shots from all around the perimeter begin to become second nature. Now, when it's game time, he has the muscle memory to execute the shots. He'll find the clutch moments beginning to mimic practice, and it will give him solace in his ability to deliver when the game is on the line. And these principles can also be transferred in the world of business, where a person that possesses the ability to generate and lead a conversation, it might help him build rapport with a person of influence. How much easier is that chat with your general manager when you both discovered that you like to fly fish? Or your last interview flowed much easier when you correctly identified the artist and painting above the desk. And women are drawn to a man that can relate as well. It's all relative, and it's all part of the art of communication. Learn this valuable art form and take your confidence where you can find it and use it for your benefit. Like judo, use the energy to positively affect you. And you'll soon realize that all the confidence you ever needed was inside you all along. You'll face challenges differently. Be less fearful about the outcome, yet excited about the journey. You'll shoot more shots, and more shots will begin to go in.